in the NFL, for some it's already do or die time. Brett Favre and the Pack hope to punch again. The Cheesehead hung a 52 spot on the Saints. Seems like old times, Vinny, and the Jets back. No Michael Vick. How the Falcons still took the champs down to the wire in Atlanta. The undefeated Skins hit Denver. Which red-hot team would cool off in Colorado? A Texas massacre in Dallas without the chance of how the boys flattened Philly. And did the master named Manning take young Alex Smith to school by the Bay? All that and more on NFL Primetime.
NFL Primetime is presented by Miller Lite. Primetime is Miller time. And now, here's your host, Chris Berman.
Good evening once again, everybody. Welcome to NFL Primetime. Happy Columbus Day weekend, everybody. Chris Berman along with Tom Jackson. We begin the Columbus Day weekend with 4 undefeated teams.
That's right. That's right.
That's pretty quick to get down to 4.
Yeah, but I don't think we'll end the day with 4 undefeated
No,
teams.
you know that, huh?
I already know that.
Fair. And we also began the day with a couple of totally defeated teams, although you had a feeling that what we saw on Monday night late from Brett Favre and the Packers might carry over at Lambeau Field as Favre and the Pack. His birthday, 36th birthday, can't be that old, is on Monday. The Pack trying to avoid the 0-5 start, taking on the New Orleans Saints. And Al Harris, hair flying, Pack happy. 22-yard interception, touchdown, and the Packers lead 14-3.
Yeah, Al Harris, a good bump on the outside receiver. He watches the slot come out on a flat route, reads the quarterback's eyes. Great jump on the football, and Brett Favre very pleased to get some help from the defensive side of the ball.
Ensuing possession, Aaron Brooks, and you know, he can look like this. This is picked off by Harris in double coverage, and so Harris with 2 in the quarter, the Packers on the move again. Later in the drive, 1st and goal, Najee Davenport squeezes his way into the end zone. Touchdown number 2 for Davenport with start number 2, 21-3 Packers. Favre, bootleg. Zing! Oh, man! Man, that was a blue dart to Robert Ferguson. 25 yards to 28-3. Bad news, Packers. Remember, Green is out on a screen to Davenport. Oh, man, broken right ankle. Davenport, season wiped out for the year. That's just tough to see him carted off. But it was a day that the Packer fans certainly would enjoy. Todd Bauman is in, picked up by Nick Barnett. And look at the big fella. He could go all the way. 95 yards for a touchdown. So the Saints actually led 3-0. But when you add it all up, 52 points later, the Pack get off the schneid. They win 52-3. Favre threw for 215, the biggest first half the Packers have had since Brett was a rookie, December of 1992. And you know, you just had the feel that, look, and start number 210, Brett, his birthday tomorrow. And you also had the feel that the Saints would have some days like this. I hate to say it, Tom.
Well, they're going to have more days like this during the course of the season, but what we saw on Monday night, we see now from Brett Favre again on Sunday. 7 touchdowns over the course of the last 6 days. Only an interception to show for it. So what a great job by Brett Favre. He is not the reason that the Green Bay Packers are struggling.
But he's happy a day before his birthday.
You never know in this game. Who would have thought? You know, I don't think too many people gave us a chance to beat this team. I'm sure everyone on our team was questioning if we could, or no one in there, would have even thought we'd have beat them if we beat them by more than a point or 2. And I'm just sitting there saying, this is a good example of anything can happen.
Well, look, in the span of a week, they saw both ends of it.
Yeah.
Look, in that division, I hate to say it, 1-4, the Pack, they're in it.
That's right. I think the key here is this, too. We have seen Brett Favre change the way he's playing the game. You talk about those mistakes. I love the gunslinger in him. So he'd throw 3 touchdowns, he'd throw 2 interceptions, he'd somehow figure out a way to win the game. I think that what you're seeing now is a Brett Favre, and the organization has talked to him, being more careful with the football. I can't make the mistakes that I used to make. I have to depend on everybody else playing at the top of their game. I play at the top of my game. Maybe we get a chance to compete.
What I started to say before is, look, there's no excuse for 52-3, but Saints are going to have some weeks like this.
Right.
You know,
different standard.
They're only human. They're at least at San Antonio next week. We'll be back. And when we do come back on NFL Primetime, Michael Vick not playing, but the Falcons gave the Patriots all they could handle. Tom Brady immense. Eagles, Cowboys. The Eagles have beaten the Cowboys 9 out of the last 10, but not today.
NFL Primetime, presented by Miller Lite. Great tasting, less filling. Miller, good call. And in part by Visa, proud sponsor of the NFL. With Visa.
Think Central only on ABC.
Welcome back to NFL Primetime, presented by Miller Lite.
Lovie Smith, new coach last year, defensive wizard, trying to change over the Bears. Off a bye against Romeo Crennel, a defensive wizard, and his new look Cleveland Browns. Thomas Jones ran hard in this game. He knew points would be at a premium 6-3. Cleveland in the third quarter. Jones for 23. Jones for 25 yards. Look at him change directions down to the 11. 2 plays later on third down, the rookie Kyle Orton. He heard a who. Over to Mark Edwards. 8-yard touchdown. A touchdown. And the Bears are in front 10-6. Scary moment, Chicago. Jones takes a handoff up the middle, tackled awkwardly by Chris Crocker. Jones leaves the game with an injured right knee. So Romeo Crennel talking to Trent Dilfer on the sideline. We're down 10-6. So we got about 3 minutes to go. And Trent goes to Antonio Bryant. What a play at the back of the end zone with just 3 minutes to go. The 100th TD pass in Dilfer's career, and the Browns all of a sudden have the lead. Ensuing possession, it's a fumble, and the Browns recover. Adrian Peterson caused.
Yeah, Adrian Peterson right there trying to block Chris Crocker on the blitz. Good pickup, except he happened to hit the football, knock it out of his quarterback's hand.
Todd Grantham, the defensive coordinator, loves it, and so would everybody else in Cleveland. When Dilfer to Bryant again, I mean, that's what, 38 seconds, 2 touchdowns in a pitcher's duel, and all of a sudden, the Browns and Dilfer go on to win it by the count of 20-10. Hey, Cleveland under Romeo Crennel is 2-2, and Dilfer, 100th start, career touchdown pass number 100 and 101.
Yeah, and you look at the numbers on Dilfer, the 23 of 34, 218, 2 interceptions with 2 touchdowns, managing this team and maybe doing a little bit more than that for Romeo Crennel.
Braylon Edwards, though, out. An infection had to be operated on in his elbow on Saturday night, so we'll have to wait for upcoming. Meanwhile, those old antagonists of the AFC East, the Buffalo Bills. Mike Mularkey said, my depth chart this week at quarterback, I'm not saying, no, not him. We're going to start him. They didn't say who, but it's got to be the youngster Lossman watching while Kelly Holcomb throws. And in the first quarter, Holcomb to Lee Evans, 49 yards, down to the 1, setting up a McGahee touchdown blast.
Throwing the ball downfield, something we did not see from JP.
Ryan Lindell has kicked a field goal, 3rd and goal now. Holcomb 2 yards to Eric Moulds. And it's 17-0 Buffalo. The second touchdown pass of the season, the first since week 1. Hey, one of the best, number 34, one of our favorites, Thermal Thomas. There's the owner, Ralph Wilson, being hugged by Darryl Talley. There's Bruce Smith, Jim, and Andre. All the old Bills were there as Thermal is in the Ring of Honor. However, this game was not put away, 17-7. Jeff Scania recovers for the Dolphins. Miami in good field position as McGahee fumbles. And then Gus Farrat, Randy McMichael, 30 yards, 17-14. Bills lead to 3. They've kicked a field goal to make it 6, but Miami keeps pressing after the 2-minute warning. Farrat, Ronnie Brown spins, but hit by Nate Clements. It's a fumble, and the Bills recover, Tom.
Yeah, you take a look at the replay here. It looks like Ronnie Brown's knee may have been down just before the ball came out. However, not conclusive enough to overturn the fumble call.
And the Bills win 20-14. They force 5 Miami turnovers. Miami penalized 18 times in this game. Yet, give Nick Saban credit, the team hung in down 17-0 on the road. But with Holcomb, they were looking for a spark. And look, 20 points does not beat the band in Buffalo, but he completed 11 of his first 15, and they showed some spark on offense.
Yeah, I think we saw the formula that they planned to use from the beginning of the year. Play some good, solid defense, even though they have some personnel missing. Look for something from the quarterback and let the running back take charge of the football game in McGahee. That's what they got. This guy threw for over 400 yards in a playoff game 3 years ago against Pittsburgh, so there was no doubt he could throw the ball downfield.
Well, and they host the Jets next week, so the Bills feeling okay. Let's go here. We got defense forcing turnovers. Maybe we can move on. And speaking of the Jets, they were playing undefeated Tampa Bay, but Tampa Bay fought the law, and the law won. The Seahawks and Rams. This is an important game that a lot of people overlooked. Seattle didn't.
The Fantasy Ticker, brought to you by Chevy, the new Chevrolets, an American Revolution.
The Houston Texans' new offensive coordinator, Joe Pendry, upgraded during the bye week. Houston moved the ball some last week. Still looking for their first win. It's Houston old against Houston new. And you know what? Houston old's pretty good. That would be now Tennessee Titans and Jeff Fisher and Steve McNair. That was Ben Troop for a touchdown at 7-0. David Carr is sacked by Keith Bullock. A theme for the day and a theme for his career.
Yeah, take a look at Keith Bullock. He's going to line up between the guard and the center. There's zone blocking this. There's nobody over your hat. You got to block the guy who's closest to you. Straight line, beeline to the quarterback. 27 sacks on the season of David Carr.
7 today, registered by young Tennessee McNair to Drew Bennett down the sidelines. This is going to be 41 yards before he's corralled on 3rd and 3, and it's a 10-9 game. And now, how about this? Jarrett Payton, Walter's son, upgraded from the practice squad a week ago during Travis Henry's 4-game suspension. He gets a touchdown, 17-9. Then McNair to Bennett. That's nice. He's wide open, 16 yards, 25,000 yards. McNair in his career, and Tennessee in business, and now defensive business. Tip, pick, Andre Woolfolk, and the Titans go on to beat Houston 34-20, keeping Houston winless. And you saw Jeff Fisher. Congratulations to Jeff. 100 wins in his career. We told you that Jarrett Payton's are. Look, Tennessee is the youngest team in football.
Young football team.
The toughest part of their schedule is September. They have a chance to do something.
And we forget how great Jeff Fisher is at doing this, bringing his team together and getting them to do the little things right.
All sorts, young and veteran teams. And now David Carr, this isn't a little thing. Remember when he was a rookie, 76 sacks. They were an expansion team. At 49 last year, already 27 times in the 4 games. None of them wins. So, ouch, babe. Meanwhile, a big game. Yes, that's right. I know the NFC West, say what you want about it, but Seattle and St. Louis and Mike Martz, good to see him. He had infection of the heart valve, missed a couple of days of practice, and he liked what he saw in the opening kickoff. At home, it's Chris Johnson, who could go all the way. How about that? Seattle, who lost 3 times to St. Louis last year, sees on the road the opening kickoff return for a touchdown. Now we're 7-7 in the first. Watch how nice this is. Matt Hasselbeck to Jeremy Stevens, the big tight end, touchdown, 14-7 Seattle. Now tied at 14. Hasselbeck, what smoothness here. Zing, this was set up beautifully to Joe Jurevicius. Starting, we'll tell you about that, but Joe caught 9. What an offseason pickup. The key word in that, he caught 9. Mark Folger, Torrey Holt. He impressed us on the set with us. How about that?
Yeah, acrobatic catch, the softest hands in the NFL right there, and he showed you how you can use them for a great catch.
Later on the drive, a hand up to Steven Jackson. Michael Bulwer injured, taken to the hospital for x-rays on his back. It's very down a long time. Folks kneeling, but he was scheduled, and that was our last report, to fly back with the team. So that's obviously good news. Back to the game in which Seattle is up 27-21, 2nd and 3. Sean Alexander running hard off left tackle, shuns a Ram into the end zone, one of his 2 touchdowns, 34-21 Seattle. 3rd and 2. The pitch to Steven Jackson for the Rams. He goes in from 4 yards out. 34-28 Seattle. What a game this was. Back and forth. 3 minutes to go. 37-31. And Sean McDonald has the punt. E-I-E-I-O-I. He fumbles. Seattle. So the special teams, which gave up the touchdown early, gets the fumble recovery late. And what a big win for the Seattle Seahawks. No turnovers on the road, again against a team that beat him 3 times. Jurevicius starting in place of the injured both Ingram and Bobby Jackson. Another youngster started at wide receiver, DJ Hackett. And Seattle gets a win Look, now they're in first place in their division,
right.
and again, after that opening kickoff official, and I don't think you can underscore this.
We're a very resilient football team, and you mentioned the 3 losses last year to the Rams, 3 losses to the same team in your division. So it was most important. I'm going to pick out 2 games. This is the first one, must win. I thought even week 5, you had to win this football game, not only because it was at home, you had to win it to prove something to yourself. They did.
Well, remember the front running last year, then the Rams came back in that regular season right around this time and beat them up at Seattle after Seattle led by 17 points. Maybe this is why the world has turned. I know it's a long way to go, but a big win for the Seattle Seahawks. And again, on Coach Martz, good to see him back on the sidelines. You don't want anybody suffering from that sort of stuff. Meanwhile, when we return, Patriots, Falcons, a battle of heavyweights. Deion Branch from Louisville and Tom Brady and some strange sights in the Jets-Tampa Bay game.
Inside the Numbers, brought to you by Visa, proud sponsor of the NFL. With Visa, you're protected.
Yardblitz.com to enter. The code word is football.
2 weeks ago, he's sitting in his Long Island home on the couch. Pennington hurt, Fiedler hurt. Now he starts for the New York Football Jets. Chad, good, it's glad it's the left hand waving. Herm Edwards gives him a hug. Meanwhile, to catch a break as the undefeated Buccaneers are in, but without Cadillac Williams with the foot injury on the sidelines. Brian Greasy fought the law, and the law won. Ty Law, looking like Ty Law, returns it deep into the Buccaneer territory, the 8-yard line. First down run by Martin, a very scary moment here. Rondé Barber mixing up with Kevin Mawai, swings at him, inadvertently hits Butch Hanna, the umpire. And a flag.
It's amazing he wasn't ejected from the game. Just amazing he wasn't ejected from the game.
Good job, Butch. He stayed in. Personal foul against Barber, but again, he got to play. The penalty gets it down to the 2-yard line, which sets up Martin for a touchdown. Curtis's first touchdown of the season. Here we are, Columbus Day weekend, Tom. But it's 7-6. Now the Bucs have kicked the field goal 9-7. First possession, second half. Vinny to Doug Jolly, a Doug Jolly sighting. And Vinny 10 of 12 in the second half for 120. Martin plowing ahead. 3rd and goal. What do? Herm. Let's go. Let's go. And so you know there's going to be a tricky play coming. Well, tricky enough. It's tricky enough. It's a touchdown. Curtis, my favorite Martin, scores. It's 14-9. Now Vinny looking for more, but here's Barber. Picked off. Vinny shaken up on the play. And the Jets now up 14-12. The Bucs still with one last chance. This is later. 15 seconds left of the game. 4th and 2. Greasy to Michael Pittman. He gets out. No timeouts left for the Bucs. Pennington and the Jet fans encouraging the D. Next play. Greasy to Joey Galloway. But tick, 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 tick. There goes the gun. And the Jets have knocked the Bucs from the ranks of the undefeated, winning 14-12. How odd is it that Vinny, I know he was a Jet for a long time, but look, it all began with the Tampa Bay Bucs, and he's the one that knocks the Bucs out. Here's Vinny Testaverde, who 2 weeks ago said he was watching Sunday NFL Countdown on NFL Primetime. Now he's on the field, almost 42, leading the Jets.
Well, I think people need to also realize what they saw. You talked about the fact that he only had really 6 practices before he started as a New York Jet today. But I think that he's very decisive with the football, and they had to use the pass to actually set up the run. So they were much more pass-oriented today than Herm Edwards, I know, would like to be. Pass first, run second. Boy, was he pretty decisive, Vinny Testaverde, in terms of getting off that couch and playing a winning football for the Jets.
And you saw the Pittman played all right, but the Bucs are not quite the same offensively without Cadillac.
No. Cadillac Williams is the thing that drives the engine.
Well, and so they lose for the first time this year, and the Jets are back in the mix. The New England Patriots, they're a team that certainly expects to be in the mix. Super Bowls 3 out of the last 4 years, but after being lambasted at home last week against San Diego, and there's no other way to talk about it, here they go into a buzzard's den here, nest I should say, it's a bird in Atlanta, and the Falcons, without Michael Vick, still had a very capable backup in Matt Schaub. Here's our prime cut, and this game went right down to the wire. So the Patriots, they want to fall below 500, as was the case a couple of weeks ago when they went into Pittsburgh and won a nail-biter. There's Matt Stump the Schaub playing for Michael Vick. Tom Brady, he's got tight ends. Use him. Look at the whirly bird to Daniel Graham. This is a tight end who leaps and rolls for 45 yards for the touchdown, and you just can't knock him down, Tom. And he got some help at the beginning of the play.
Yeah, you're going to see the block here by Stephen Neal, and just watch what he does. And then he has the presence of mind to duck and get out of the way so Daniel Graham can get up over him and get to the end zone.
14-0 the Patriots. Now here comes Atlanta. So you figured, okay, Daniel, nice play. Matt Schaub from Virginia hooks up with the big fella. Brian Finneran gets deep over the middle, 53 yards. The Chargers went over the middle a lot, and here comes Atlanta. Schaub, play action. Justin Griffith wide open, 2 yards, touchdown, 14-7. Closing seconds of the half, Michael Kanan, you know him from all the movies. He's the punter and kickoff man. 58-yard field goal, no good. But wait a minute now, like we used to do in the streets, it's a do-over.
That's right. It's going to be a do-over because Mike Vrabel right there turns around, clearly signals for the timeout and gets it from the official.
Well, it's 58 yards. I mean, there's no way he's going to. Wait a minute. It's long enough. It's high enough. It's deep enough. Good. It's good. There have only been 8 field goals in NFL history longer than that. And just like that, it's a 14-13 game at the half. Brady says, okay, remember Daniel Graham before? I do. 45 yards. Knocked deep. Very next play. Oh, we have another tight end. Ben Watson. Nice pass. 33 yards. 21-13. The Patriots, 2 plays, 78 yards. Corey Dillon. Don't overlook the fact that he had a 100-yard game before going out late. 18th player in NFL history to rush for 10,000 yards.
He has been a great running back in Cincinnati and here as well.
And you figured it, Tom, during the high holy days, why not air it out to Temple Bethel Johnson? It's a touchdown, 55 yards, and the ball almost went out of the screen. 28-13, the Patriots. Atlanta. Do they get momentum here? DeMario Williams demoralizes the Patriots. It's the only turnover they made as the ball's batted. Here comes Atlanta. Schaub. He's got a tight end, too. You talked about him this morning. Algie Crumpler. Woo! 25 yards. 28-20. Falcons. Later in the fourth. Under 5 minutes to go. 2nd and 10. They give it to Warwick Dunn. 12-yard game. Now we're 4 minutes to go. Falcons down 8. Schaub has time. Floats to Des White. Touchdown, 14 yards, 28-26. They obviously go for 2. Did we say float? How about this? Nice play by Finneran, a nice throw by Schaub, and we're tied at 28. But, you know, there's no way Brady and Vinatieri and the Patriots can come back. Well, Corey Dillon didn't come back, although he came back later, smiling on the sidelines. Brady to Deion Branch, ball knocked down, pass interference called with 3.5 minutes to go. Would he have another chance? Number 4. 1st and 10 from the 29. You know, played well. Patrick Ruff. I mean, his name is Patrick Pass, but he had a couple of key runs. And then 19 seconds to the tick. Adam Vinatieri, 29 yards. Good. And you can tell by Mike Vick's face, and look at you don't see that with Bill Belichick very often. He knows. They came in and played.
A lot of relief. A lot of relief today.
But the Patriots, with Brady being almost perfect, 22 of 27 for 350, 3 touchdowns. The interception was a batted ball. Vinatieri with yet another game winner. What's that? 19 game winners in his career. You saw the Patriots use the tight end, but it all is a result of something that they hadn't done much of this year, at least not successfully.
Well, yeah, they were last in the league running the football, Boom. So when you look at the 23 carries for over 100 yards for Corey Dillon, that's the beginning of good things for the New England Patriots. Leads us to our extra point. They began the game by running the football, and this would set up what they would do later on. First quarter, 1:15 left, fake screen to Patrick Pass. You come back to Daniel Graham. He gets the great block from Stephen Neal, and Daniel Graham wills himself into the end zone. And we come back here, just look right here, the linebackers biting on the run fake. Here allows Daniel Graham to get behind him. This is the first play, second half, 45-yard game. They come in double tights, get in a run formation on a 1st down and 10. Again, the good play fake by Brady to Corey Dillon. Ben Watson, the second-year man down the middle. 2 plays, we begin the second half by scoring. So I think the key here, this was the first time they rushed for over 100 yards. This was the first time they had a 100-yard rusher, obviously. They run the football to set up the pass. I think they discovered something that we're going to see for the rest of the season from this ball
Well, look,
club.
I mean, I said it this morning, and for New England fans, I mean, they're going to be like the Red Sox. It's not like they have no defense. I mean, Atlanta did get 400 yards. New England got almost 500. But, okay, so not enough pitching, so we got to score runs. Which means we got to score more points, and I think that you saw the Patriots use the weapons they have, the run, the tight ends. Oh, by the way, Deion Branch had a big game. New England at Denver next week, then a bye. Then they'll face the Colts in a few weeks now, who may be undefeated when they come in because, well, the Colts are playing the 49ers today. How did that go? And how did this go? Drew Bledsoe and Keyshawn Johnson in a big win, yelling at each other? Welcome back to NFL Primetime. The Ravens at the Lions. Ray Lewis trying to fire up his team in Motown. Dre Bly has made an interception and put Kevin Jones in position to bounce in the end zone untouched. And then, well, he does the dance like now Raven, once Cowboy, once everyone, Deion.
Yeah, he's practiced at it, which means he's standing in a mirror at some point.
That's not good. Joey Harrington, this is a big call. Gets hit, the ball goes tumbling forward. It looks to be incomplete. But Jones says, well, wait a minute, let me pick it up. I don't hear a whistle. And he keeps running and moving. And down to the 2, Brian Billick goes, are you kidding me? It had to be an incomplete pass. You're going to call that, what's going on here? Is it a forward pass or a fumble?
It gets reviewed. You see Joey's arm coming forward. Certainly looks like his forward momentum of his arm threw the ball out. However, they looked at it. The call was upheld. It was a fumble.
And then it got to Jones for a touchdown, loses the mouth guard, and then does his Ray Lewis dance. See, so...
Well, I wouldn't do that. If I was a running back, I wouldn't do that. With Ray Lewis as a linebacker, you're certainly going to see him again sometime in your career.
Joey Harrington throws it away. Terrell Suggs gets called for roughing the passer. He's not pleased, and his helmet bumps the beak of ref Mike Carey's cap, and he's thrown out of the game. 2 Ravens thrown out of the game for unsportsmanlike conduct. B.J. Ward and Casey Fitzsimmons get into it. Ward gets flagged. Ed Reed comes over trying to grab the official, but Carey ejects Ward instead of Reed. The Ravens had 21 penalties in this game. By the way, the NFL record, 22. Anthony Wright to Derek Mason. Out of bounds, thinks he was pushed out. Umpire disagrees. Mason throws the ball against the wall. Out of frustration, he's flagged. You can see the way this was going. Meanwhile, the game is 28-17. Sean Price is gone. I mean, 1 carry. Didn't Mel Farr used to wear 24?
And that's Deion Sanders chasing him. And in his day, Deion Sanders would have caught anybody in this league. Boom, couldn't catch him today.
So the Lions go on to win at 35-17 in a bizarre game. It was just last week that the Lions thought they got jobbed and didn't get the break when they had the touchdown, maybe a Tampa callback. This time all the flags went against their opponent, and Detroit wins 35-17. The Ravens fall to 1-3, the Lions 2-2. And you know what? In that division, they're in first. Panthers and Cardinals. Josh Tears of McCown and the Cardinals. They're undefeated in Mexico. Yet to win in the United States. How about Anquan Bolden? Bang! And he's in the end zone. Touchdown, 20 yards.
They've got 2 brilliant young receivers, Anquan Bolden and Larry Fitzgerald.
Look at this again.
Brilliant.
Bang.
Just watch their desire. They've got great hands. They're big. They're strong. Quarterback's dream.
Arizona leads Carolina 20-10. McCown to Bolden, but Marlon McCree. What? Look at that. It's almost like a forehand hit in tennis. Recovered by Ken Lucas all the way down to the 5. Leads to a Davis 1-yard touchdown, and it's now 20-17. Stephen Davis picks up 6 yards on first down. Later, daylight come, and you got it, Delo. Deshaun Foster out of the backfield. 30 yards in all. And on the play, way back, G.K. O'Keefer roughing the passer adds another 15 yards. Then Steve Smith. Wow! Out of bounds at the 4. Next play, daylight come, and you got to go to Steve Smith. Touchdown. Panthers lead 24-20. Arizona having the lead. Blowing it. Now on 4th and 6 at the Carolina 33, do they have a chance? Dun, 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 Picked off by Marlon McCree. And the Panthers, they kind of seem to play the way their opponents are, but they get away with a win. They were not over 500 all last year, and it's the first time they've been over 500 all this year. Maybe they get started a little bit earlier this year. Tommy, they win 20.
Yeah, and we talked about the Arizona receivers. Steve Smith is having a great year so far, the first quarter of the season. And, Carolina's got the character to go a long way.
McCown throwing for almost 400, but was picked off 3 times. When we return, Eagles and Cowboys, a surprise in Big D. And the undefeated Redskins go into Denver to face a team that's won 3 in a row, the Denver Broncos. We'll be back. Coming up on Sunday Night Football, Carson Palmer and the Cincinnati Bengals undefeated in Jacksonville against the Jaguars. Many consider Carson Palmer the greatest high school football player to win this game in Orange County. 1997 CIF Southern Division 5 title game. Santa Margarita Eagles against Deshaun Foster's Tustin High-Tillers. Carson Palmer, 377 yards.
Primetime Flashback. Brought to you by NikeGridiron.com. You are watching NFL Primetime, presented by Miller Lite.
Redskins undefeated at 3-0. Champ Bailey, one-time Skin. Clinton Portis, one-time Bronco. Traded for each other, 3-0 Skins. At 3-1 Denver's, 1-3-0. And Tom, is it rain? Could it be snow already in the Rockies?
Absolutely.
Quick pitch to Clinton. You've never seen that, have you, in early October out there? Clinton Portis, a couple of moves inside the 5. Portis, 20 carries, 103. Mark Brunell rolls out, finds Mike Sellers to Sellers Market. Tied it up, Brunell going for almost 200 yards in the first half. Third quarter, heavy rains. Jake Plummer complained at the ref, the ball is slick. Denver pinned deep in their own end zone. And Jake drops the ball and actually did a good job just to get away with the safety here, Tom. Adi Jimo makes the hit in the end zone. But wait, Denver challenges the play, saying it's a tuck situation. And the refs rule the play is overturned, so the Redskins miss out on 2 points as a reverse.
Only in the AFC West.
Was it in Denver, Tom?
Tuck rule comes into play.
Nick Novak gets a kick block. 2 Broncos on the special teams get their hands on it, so no safety. They miss out on a field goal. Remember these points. Tate and Bell to the right. Get some great blocks. Look at Bell move. 55 yards. Bell had 2 TDs and a $127. The Broncos lead 21-10. Fourth quarter, scary moment here. Umpire Garth DeFelice. 2 players, he just can't get out of the way. You're the umpire. It's the toughest position of all the officials on the field. He goes down hard. It's the back of his head on the turf. And the trainers of both teams helping him out. He was okay. He would return to fit. These guys.
It's a scary moment,
nobody
though.
understands. They're wearing no pads and nothing. They're out there, and they all bounce back today. Gerard Warren with a sack of Brunell, but a flag on the play downfield. Holding, automatic first down. The Redskins down 21-13. Drive continues. Now a minute 15 on the 11. Brunell to Chris Cooley. Touchdown. Penalty. But it's on the Broncos. Decline, of course. Joe Gibbs needs 2. Brunell rolling. Incomplete. Ian Gold makes the deflection. Onside kick recovered Denver. And the Broncos win at 21-19. They've won 4 in a row. Washington, like Tampa Bay, knocked from the ranks of the undefeated on a rainy day. Brunell threw for 322. Plummer, 10 of 25 for 92.
Yeah, and we talk about the Washington Redskins and how close they've played since Joe Gibbs came back. 4 games this year, all won or lost. And this is their first loss by 2. But all the other wins by 3 points or less, Boom.
Here we go, the Colts and the 49ers. And this looked like David against Goliath as Alex Smith, #1 draft pick this year, making his first career start. Peyton Manning, #1 draft pick in 1998, remembers what that was like. He was like this. Cato June makes the pick. 24 yards, touchdown. The Colts lead 14-0. I got to tell you, the 49ers, you're not going to see it here. They played hard.
They play hard.
They ran hard. But they're just, in this sort of situation, they're just outmanned. Now that play was just thrown up inexperience. Jason David in the double coverage picks it up. Second pick in the game for Smith. 14-0 second quarter. Smith scrambling. And Mike Dawson, triple coverage, picks it off. So 3 picks, Colts, in the first half. And welcome to the NFL, young fella.
Yeah, he took a lot of hits. There was a lot of pressure coming. This is a team that hasn't been blitzing a lot this year. They did because they had a rookie. They knew he was going to be affected by it.
And then he hit hard again on the third quarter. Now in the second half, with the score 14-3, Smith again picked off by, well, that's Peyton, pressure by Keith Lewis on the safety blitz. How does he do that to Stokely, huh? How does he do it? Manning, Stokely, first down on 4th and 3. You know, the Niners have, late third, it's 14-3 until Edgerrin James barrels in for the touchdown. 21-3 the Colts. And then Indianapolis ices it with his 18-yard touchdown pass to Troy Walters. Manning 23 of 31, 255. Niners did pick him off twice. Colts win 28-3. Alex Smith 9 of 23 for 74 yards. Mama said there would be days like this, and there'll be more of them. Here's the story you need to know. The Indianapolis Colts are 5-0. They've given up 29 points. 29 points.
Well, I think the key here is that, we all talked about how many points could be scored by this team. They weren't out looking for 50. What they're out looking for is wins, and I think that's the key. This team has learned to play a different style of offense because they have a defense that creates turnovers and positive position for them on the field.
Well, and so the Colts, they're home against St. Louis, then they're at Houston. They got a bye going into New England, and so they have a chance to be undefeated. I know we're looking ahead going into the New England game, but the Colts will say, hey, one thing at a time. They are 5-0. One thing the Philadelphia Eagles did when Andy Reid quickly got there is says, hey, we're going to win the division. We're going to beat the teams in our division. And one of those teams is the Dallas Cowboys. They beat them 9 of the last 10. So here we go. The Eagles at Dallas. Could they do it again against the Cowboy team at 2-2? And Tommy said that they had to come through today. They had to win this thing. And in the sunshine, Drew Bledsoe to Terry Glenn. They've had a tough time, the Cowboys, in the first quarter of the season. They've been outscored 24-0, but not today. Bledsoe to Glenn. Another first down. 2 plays later. Bledsoe and Glenn again. Well, here's the number 1.5, maybe, huh?
No, he's a 1. I'm going to go this, Mike. I'm going to say that Terry Glenn is a true 1.
Well, he certainly was. Andy Reid looking on. It's already 7-0. Later in the first quarter, Bledsoe and Glenn again. Drew airs it out. Glenn's got the wheels. 38 yards, 14-0. How about that, Cowboy?
Yeah, take another look at his feet right there. One in, taps down the right foot. You got a better angle from the sideline camera, but believe me, he had both of them in.
And now here's Drew Bledsoe to Polite. And politely, he gets in there for 12 yards for a touchdown. Now, it was what? The Eagles, they're obligatory down big in the first half? Well, this is not a good way to fall into it. Donovan McNabb and the Eagles had their chances, though. He gets blitzed, but Brian Westbrook open, dropped it. And the little guy, if he held on to it, would have kept moving.
Yeah, the pressure on McNabb made him throw the ball a little bit too far inside. It was actually a catch that Westbrook had to stretch for. He tried to, and he couldn't quite get to it.
So then McNabb blitzed by Terrence Newman, and with the score 24-3, Dallas can smell it. Over the middle to Westbrook, and Brian looks like he'll get the first time, but Roy Williams comes out of nowhere and drops him short of the first. 3rd and 5, McNabb. Flush from the pocket. And it never gets rid of it. 131 yards, that's it. Passing for McNabb on a day that they were way behind, so of course they had to throw it. 30-3. And with the score, 27-point lead, Bledsoe to Keyshawn Johnson. He's hit, and Sheldon Brown will pick up the fumble, and he returns it all the way 80 yards for a touchdown. And with this, they're up big. Keyshawn and Bledsoe jawing on the sidelines, and you're up by 20 points. Early 4th, McNabb to Terrell Owens. Did not get career touchdown reception number 100. And then they make up Keyshawn and Bledsoe. Hey, it was a big day for Dallas. Don't overlook that. 33-10. The Cowboys win as Bledsoe threw for almost 300 yards and the 3 touchdowns. Terry Glenn caught a 100-yard day receiving after the game. Bledsoe talking about the incident.
At that point in the game, I felt like we were just absolutely manhandling them, and then to turn the ball over in that situation, I wasn't happy about it. So I said something to him, and he's an emotional guy. Everybody knows that. So he fired back at me, and but it's one of those things that was over about 30 seconds after it started. We got back on the field, and immediately the next conversation is about what we're going to do. I mean, it wasn't even a situation where anybody went and kissed and made up. It was just, it was over. That was all.
Well, Bill,
I like that.
Well, Bill, yeah, that's right. But Bill right there, I don't want to hear about it. Hey, they won a big game.
Well, yeah, and it's a small incident. I said that there were 2 games that I felt were must-wins today. I felt that this game was a must-win for the Dallas Cowboys. They get ready to play another divisional game next week against the New York Football Giants. And look, the quarterback was wrong. I think that Keyshawn Johnson is an outstanding competitor. He's trying as hard as he can to make things happen, do anything you have to do to win. So you're out of line when you said that, with the score being what it was. But I also understand the frustration of the quarterback. We've seen it happen a couple of times this year. Interceptions putting teams back in games when they should be blown out.
Well, and the Eagles, they run a little. Huh?
You got to run the football. You got to run the ball some. Let
me get on the horn with that. When we return, game balls coming up, the best of Week 5. There were plenty.
NFL Primetime, presented by Miller Lite. Great tasting, less filling. Miller, good call. And in part by Castrol Syntec. For maximum power, great cars want more than just oil. Give them Castrol Syntec. And Chevy, the new Chevrolets, an American revolution. Primetime Performers. Brought to you by the all-new Civic from Honda. It'll reverse your thinking.
Boomer, my game ball goes to Tom Brady, and I guess that some people think this is typical of Tom Brady, but 22 of 27, 350 yards, 3 touchdown passes, as clutch as you could be today for the 2-time defending world champions.
Well, I'll tell you what, when you're sitting on your couch 2 weeks ago and forget, 163 yards, Vinny Testaverde came back and rescued the Jets. Maybe gave them a shot at something special this season, or at least moving forward. Testaverde, he beat the Bucs, for giving them the Bucs the first loss of the year. So the Indianapolis Colts move on as expected against San Francisco, but it's getting hard to stay undefeated.
Yeah, 2 of the undefeateds fall, and we got to,
You know what? I think that as we look at the 2 Super Bowl teams, New England and Philadelphia, a little work to do. But for New England, a badly needed win, however it came, and they'll take the almost 500 yards in offense.
Yeah, 1 ran the ball and 1 didn't.
By the way, Monday night, the best uniforms ever. The Powder Blues of San Diego going to be worn by the Lightning Bolts in the Monday night game against Pittsburgh. For Tom Jackson, I'm Chris Berman. Thanks for watching.